So, I played Book of Demons. On my Friday Try-Day series, which I do at twitch.tv/vicestats, which you should really be following me at. Again, let me repeat that. You should be following me at twitch.tv/vicestats. I try out a game from my Steam library that I've never played. I'm subscribed to Humble Bundle, and because of that, I get a lot of games every month that I've never gotten around to playing, whether it be not having time, or maybe just the game kind of seems kind of boring to me, or lame. A lot of times, I'm really only interested in one or two specific games from the bundle each month, and the rest take a backseat under my Steam category, indie trash that may or may not be good. After all, I can't really know if a game is good until I play it, right? So, this week I decided to play Book of Demons. I learned this is not a good game. So normally whenever I do my reviews, I kind of just jump all over the place, but I thought it might benefit me to try to do some structure with my reviews, so this week I'm going to do a little pros and cons list. Here are the pros. The game starts off kind of tongue-in-cheek. It seems very aware at first. It's kind of a goofy game, or at least that was my perception of it. The opening cinematic has a voice actor who is either new to voice acting, or maybe he was phoning in as an intentional decision by the actor or director. The opening narration talks about horror and adventure, but the one where the word horror appears on the screen, an arm falls off of one of the skeletons, and all the models and monsters and characters, they're all kind of like, cute and charming to look at. I was interested. I liked the game already by that point, but then the game starts and all that charm is really thrown out the window. The first NPC you talk to is a barmaid that your character used to know back when you lived in this town some time ago, well before the evil set in, and she talks about how the people have left. Some left town, others killed themselves. Wait. Other people killed themselves? Okay, I thought this game was kind of like cheeky and cute, but that really took kind of a big turn right there. Okay, you know what? Whatever. Maybe I misread the tone. My bad. That's on me. Shortly after you start the game, and it then previews the dungeon, and all the monsters lurking within. At the very bottom of the dungeon is Satan, who is shown holding his prized rubber ducky. No, wait, no, I got that right. You guys just can't decide what tone you want for your game, can you? I played an hour total, and after they showed Satan with his rubber ducky, there wasn't a single joke or tongue-in-cheek thing at all afterwards. So, listen, guys, when you figure out what you want your game to be, let me know. I'll update my review. I think it's easier to jump into the voice acting here as long as I'm talking about the narrative, not the setting. I've got a big issue with the voice acting in this game. Not necessarily the voice actors and their performance themselves. I think the voices are fine, and I think the voice actors are working with what they have, I respect voice actors. They weren't doing goofy voices, none of them were hammy or over the top or anything, but I think it comes to an issue with the direction they were giving. You can tell in a game if voice actors have no direction and they just kind of do whatever they want, but they were all kind of doing the same thing. It makes me think they all had the same direction, which was speak very slowly. All the dialogue in this game is long-winded, and frankly, it's kind of boring. None of these characters have interesting enough pasts for me to actually get invested in who they are, and the fact they don't have names doesn't help either. The barmaid, the fortune teller, the elder. Yeah, very, very inspired. I don't have an issue with games that do that sort of thing, but if the characters, aren't interesting enough to warrant that style, it doesn't really work not having actual names. Like, give me something to work with. Okay, sorry, admittedly that is kind of a tangent, but still, that kind of bothers me a little. Characters take a long time to say what it is they're trying to say, and usually what it is they're trying to say isn't even important. They'll take twice as long as they need to say anything, and it's always irrelevant until they do talk about mechanics, but even then, it's so long-winded and verbose that halfway through the conversation, through the explanation of these important mechanics, I've forgotten what it was they were even talking about, and I have to go back and do it again.
Okay.
Greetings, traveler. People call me the fortune teller. I'm pleased to see there are souls courageous enough to visit a place like this and stay. In truth, I came here recently myself, as I had to leave the royal...
I played the game for an hour, and after about 45 minutes, I just started a fast, quick click through their dialogue. It was just causing me physical pain to hear them drone on and on. Okay, so arguably the most important part of a video game is gameplay, and that is where my real, substantial, not nitpicky problems with the game come on. So the game is marketed on Steam as a roguelike deck builder and a dungeon crawler, and I have big issue with that terminology. When I think of a roguelike deck builder, I picture games where you collect cards in a deck and use actual card mechanics. Games like Monster Train or Slay the Spire. This game is not a roguelike deck builder. The cards in this game are just abilities that you find and equip to a hotbar. You don't shuffle them or play them. They're abilities, they cost mana, they have cooldowns, unless they're items, in which case they have charges and you just pick them up, when you find them. At least Dungeon Crawler is accurate because the game just feels like a Diablo, but it's so dumbed down. There's no need to have these abilities. These are essentially abilities. There's no need to have them called cards. Seeing those tags actually at first before I played the game got me really excited to see how well one of my favorite genres would work well with a Diablo clone. Turns out, it doesn't work at all. I mean, maybe if they attempted to actually use real card mechanics instead of just pretending they did, it would have been cool to see how they worked, but there are no actual card mechanics in this game. Now, as far as the dungeon crawling aspect of the game goes, it's boring. You're set on tracks, and your character automatically moves in whatever direction that you click, and not only will he walk for you when you click once, he'll fight for you too. He'll automatically attack unless you decide to take the wheel for him and then click for him. In that case, you do more damage and click faster, but after the first level, his auto attack is basically useless. Why bother having it in there at all? And let me go back to the card mechanics for a bit, which, although they aren't cards, I want to clarify that I'm calling them cards just for the sake of simplicity because that's how the game refers to them. The game does a few unique things, which I'll give them credit for, but I will also say unique doesn't always mean good. So your mana pool doesn't just determine how many spells you can cast, but it also determines the amount of equipment that you can equip. Artifact cards are essentially gear. They're like pendants, armor, charms, etc. And they each have a cost, and when you wear artifacts, they turn blue mana into green mana. And I had to have that explained to me like 3 times by someone in chat because I couldn't figure out what the heck they were trying to say. So green mana is mana that is locked away until you take off the artifacts that you put on. So that means that the amount of gear you can equip is not only limited by the amount of card slots you have, but also your maximum mana. Because artifacts, they all have a cost to wear. It turns a certain amount of blue mana into green mana, and that mana can't exceed your maximum mana. So not only, again, you're limited by the amount of cards that you can equip, but your maximum mana, and means wearing these artifacts drastically reduces the amount of spells that you can cast. Like I said, it's unique, but I don't really like it. I get that it's trying to represent the trope about how armor interferes with spellcasting and magic, but I feel there could have been a much better way to do that. I'll also say this game is simple. It's really, really simple. It's almost mindlessly simple. And while I can definitely enjoy a game that's mindless at times, this just isn't it. I know there are higher difficulties, but there's no depth to actual gameplay. You don't become a better player at it. The game boils down to grinding and clicking, and while I can say that sort of thing might be fine for younger audiences or even a mobile market, this is not the sort of thing I expect from a game that costs $25. And also, while I'm here talking about price, I want to get into something else that kind of annoyed me at first, but really grinding my gears lately. The more I think about it, the more it pisses me off. When you start the game, Book of Demons has a screen with a bunch of pedestals. Now, without counting, I think off the top of my head, there were like 6 or 7 pedestals. One of them led to the beginning of the game, Book of Demons. There was a book on top of it. There was another book that said something like, coming soon, Hellcard. And that is its game, which is currently in closed beta. I don't know if that's an expansion or another game entirely, but the fact there's so many pedestals makes me think they're just going to keep making more. But why is there a hub screen for this developer when they only have one game out? Just to let me know there's going to be more? To advertise a game that's not even done yet? But then, they actually do advertise the game in-game. The game actually had a pop-up window to advertise their soon-to-be-released expansion, side game, whatever Hellcard is, and sometime down the road after that, Book of Aliens. Roy? Gonna do a Medium game. Okay, I don't give a shit. Bro, what? Can you not advertise the games that are not even finished yet? I saw this on the page, on the Steam page, that it's Book of Demons, Hellcard, coming soon. That was like, it was in its alpha test, and they just announced Book of Aliens, but they're not even done with their second expansion. So, oh yeah, the expansions are free, of course. Thank you. I'm pretty fair when it comes to advertising in video games. Where I stand is that advertising DLC or expansions in-game is fine if the product is free. I didn't get this product for free. I paid for the Humble Bundle that it came in. I'll also say that paid games have a button on the side, like this expansion pack required for extra campaign. That's fine too. But it's advertising an unfinished product in the middle of my gameplay. That's honestly unacceptable to me. I wouldn't even be upset if it were just a ticker on the main menu, but to actually interrupt my gameplay, to take me out of this game that I'm not even enjoying, to advertise the next one? Come on, man. Alright, to wrap this up, would I recommend this game? No, I really wouldn't. If you like dungeon crawlers but you thought Diablo was too hard or scary, maybe this is more your speed. If you like card games, don't buy it. It's not a card game. I don't recommend it for you. If for whatever reason, after everything I've said about this game, it seems up your alley, don't buy it full price. At the time of this video's uploading, it's on sale for like $6, but full price, it's sold for $25, and I think selling it for $6 is even a stretch. Peace.